Hey guys, Digitech Lifestyle here, back with another video. This one out from Squawkbox. The dollar is being used for illicit activities, says a fund start. Tom Lee on Bitcoin being used for illegal purchases. Criminals don't trust anybody, but they trust Bitcoin. Not quite 100% sure on that particular comment, but why he says Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin ledger is open and you can spot transactions. However, what he says with regards to the dollar is extremely true. The dollar is being used for more illicit transactions or illicit activities for decades, ever since its inception. Criminals have been using it to steal. You have the banks that are using it to defraud customers, etc. Buy illicit drugs. HSBC was caught for doing that. Lloyds was caught for doing that. Barclays caught for doing illicit activities. American banks have been caught for doing illicit activities. You have BlackRock being fined the millions in recent years. You also have other corporate banking entities in America being charged for fraud and illicit drug activities, child trafficking, human trafficking, the whole thing, and it's all based on the dollar. Whereas the Bitcoin system is, or the blockchain system, if you want to call it that, you can spot the transactions. You can actually trace the transactions. This is why they want a CBDC, so that they can control everything, control your spending, control how you interact with the financial system. The fact is that they can still block your bank account with the system anyway. Look at what they did to Russia, is a proven point. At the end of the day, the dollar is more used for illicit activities than is cryptocurrencies. Yes, there are illicit cryptocurrencies. Yes, there are scams in the system, but that's in every single thing on this planet. You have fake bloody gold. You have fake bloody silver. You have fake bronze, if you will. You have fakeness everywhere. Fake Louis Vuittons, fake Nikes, all of that kind of stuff. Hello? Anyway, let me play you the video. Oh, I'm so annoyed right now. I'm sorry.
What did Gensler say the other day, that he trusts the Oracle database more than the blockchain,
the thing that
distributed ledger? That was bizarre, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, the blockchain is just one big piece of software, but, I would trust the proof of work concept, that you now, instead of having 5 people manage an Oracle database, you have a consensus mechanism, and that's what's
exactly.
So, but Tom, here's the flip side of that, and you've heard it from the Jamie Dimons of the world, maybe even Elizabeth Warrens and others, who say, despite what you said about sort of how good the blockchain is to be able to find where things are, it is the medium of choice for ransomware. I mean, just you can go through the list of sort of terrible illegal behavior. People in that world seem to love Bitcoin. What does that say about this?
Well, pirates were the first people that liked gold, so we knew gold was a good store of value. But I think equally important, the dollar is used in more illicit activities.
99.
I know we talked about that. Obviously,
99.9.
And look how that guy pushes back, and he tells him, the dollar has been used for illicit activities. Yet the other guy was like, we talked about it, and he wants to just brush it aside. Come on now. The fact is, the dollar is used for and has been used for illicit activities for decades.
Joe's made that point before, but you don't. So you ascribe nothing to the idea that Bitcoin is a beloved.
That one, pushing back on the other guy that's actually saying what, calling out, and he actually spoke with Gary Gensler the other day on Squawkbox, and said, look, the dollar is 99% more used for illicit activities than is crypto.
Currency for those who are trying to do nefarious things.
Well, here's a way to think of it. Criminals don't trust anybody, but they trust Bitcoin. And so if you want to say what is a trusted asset, it's really what would be the least trustworthy.
This is like saying you follow the technology that starts with PORN. right?
No, I think
because that's.
I think it's like
right. I remember like videotapes and this.
It's like blaming the object for itself for the nefarious behavior when it's the humans that are using the.
Right. It's not necessarily so that Bitcoin is used for or is Bitcoin is the illicit asset. It is the people who use the asset to create or do illicit activities. It's the same with the dollar. You know, there are people who will choose to use it for illicit activities, and you could even put buying drugs on it if you know, because drugs are illegal per se, but yet you know you don't hear many governments going around and arresting every single drug user for buying drugs with the dollar, even though it's an illicit activity. So the whole thing about using Bitcoin for ransomware and all that kind of stuff, even though it's on a ledger and it can be tracked, is a farce. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at these people that think that they can just say stuff and we are expected to believe it. You know, we have a system, we have a governance, we have a media that is just so out of touch, so controlled, so in bed with corporate governments, banks, etc., etc. They push a narrative when there is you know, what we're seeing here is a controlled media talk on how let's try and stop mainstream people or not mainstream. Let's stop the ordinary person from getting involved in these assets, knowing fully well that we are moving into a digital age. We have moved into a digital age. People can buy stuff with cryptocurrencies in shops using digital cards, using MasterCard, using Visa cards, etc., etc. You can load your crypto on to a MasterCard right now with Uphold and go into an Apple store and buy a bloody phone with it from that MasterCard. Hello, wake up. We have transitioned, but they're still holding us back from it. Well, they're still holding 99% of the planet back from it because they can't let go of the illicit Ponzi scheme that is the fiat currency platform that they built decades ago, to which they had the vision of controlling mankind. Now they want to bring out a CBDC that is likely to do the same. Now, wake up. We are not going to allow a CBDC, or if those who want it allow it, that's up to them. I won't be on that system. Trust me, I'm not going to be on that system. And if it is, temporarily. Now that I got that out of the way, the US is leading the transition from T2 to T2 plus 1, which means transaction times to plus from where it is now to plus 1, which means it's going to be a shorter period. You're going to hear these guys talk about it here now. This is a bit of a long video, but it's worth listening to. At the end of the day, you guys will get some information. It will wake you up to what's literally happening within the financial world today. And the transition is rapid. It is very, it's taking place on a massive scale. And 99% of the world is asleep on this. I speak to people who come from countries who have, or I spoke to a person today who's come from a country that has adopted Bitcoin en masse and rejected the central bank CBDC. And this is Nigeria. They rejected the CBDC. The uptake on that particular token is practically nil compared to what people are investing in and buying and trading in, and that is Bitcoin. So listen to what this man, or these people, have to say.
Great. Thank you for joining, Jeremy. So as you mentioned, and as the other panelists have mentioned, there has been some previous iterations of accelerated settlement. So the concept is not new. The industry's been trying to shorten the settlement window for almost several decades now. We had the first initial move from T5 to T3 back in 1995. In 2017, we did a move from T3 to T2. And now the industry is looking at moving from T2 to T1 in the year of 2024. One of the interesting things about this is that the U.S. is actually leading the change in driving the shorter settlement to move to T+1, which was actually a reversal from the last time we moved to T2 back in 2017, where the European markets were already moved, and the U.S. was actually a laggard behind in their transition. I guess one of the things I was wondering is the transition from T2 to T1 is expected to reduce the current processing times in half. What are the other major benefits for this initiative and moving to T+1? John, you help answer that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dave. So when I look at the benefits of moving to T1, I really think of them in two kind of buckets. One is risk reduction, and the second is operational efficiency. And looking at it from a risk reduction perspective, I think, the easiest way to kind of quantify the risk is to look at the impact on the broker-to-broker activity or the cleared activity through NSCC. And when we look at the impact of taking a day out of that settlement life cycle, we see a roughly 40% reduction in the value at risk component of the NSCC margin calculation. So that actually frees up tens of billions of dollars back into the members in terms of reduction in margin. There's a kind of a corresponding risk reduction on the buy side where you free up or you eliminate or mitigate some of the risks that buy side firms have to their broker dealers. That's a little more difficult to quantify, but that exists there as well. From an operational efficiency perspective, I think the moving to T1 gives firms an opportunity to move off of a lot of manual processes that exist, to adopt straight-through processing, to move towards industry solutions where industry solutions exist. And if you think about it, adopting these industry solutions and modifying and improving your own systems doesn't only create operational efficiencies for you, but it kind of creates operational efficiencies across the whole ecosystem. So as each firm moves, towards modifying their system, it just improves the entire ecosystem.
I think we understand what will happen, right? But we simply just haven't seen it. Certainly agree with John in terms of the automation. I think, if anything, this is certainly going to be a catalyst for the industry to become even more automated. Anybody who is sort of on the fence in terms of some of their processes, this is certainly going to sort of accelerate their decision making or budgeting towards automating some of these non-STP processes, which I think will certainly be a benefit.
T+2 was a little over 5 years ago. I'll stick with.
I want to interject here, sorry. And the reason why I want to interject here, think about everything that's happened over the years, from where they moved from T+2 to now T+1, where they want to go to. Think about all the innovations that's taken place, Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams, all those kind of technologies that came before, and now we're moving on to a system that allows instant transactions of money using cryptocurrencies as the basis for this transaction. Think about that. Think about where we are now. Think about the revolution that's taking place. Think about how we will be in the future. Think about all those things that will make our lives a lot more easier. Everybody transacts. Think about this as well. You can use your phone and tap it and make an instant purchase through your phone. This stuff has been happening, and behind it is probably blockchain, but we don't know because they're not telling us.
What do you feel the key differences in this move from T2 to T1 that are different this time around than the move to T3 to T2, which was just 5 years ago? Sure. I'm sorry, Ian. We'll stay with you.
Yeah, sure. So I see the move from T+2 to T+1 as a lot more kind of transformational than probably what T+3 to T+2 is. If you take a look at the timelines between the sale, the broker due date, and also the potential buy-in, they're remaining pretty constant. What is actually getting reduced is actually one extra day of being able to do the processing. So in my mind, what that one extra day of processing actually enabled market participants to maintain an orderly market. They're able to identify risks. They'll be able to issues. They'll be able to manage those and create resolutions, and really almost kind of looking to eradicate worst case scenarios where lenders could potentially be moving their portfolios away from lending programs, which obviously would have a negative impact in market liquidity. I think, to maximise the benefits that we were talking about just a minute ago, and also really look to kind of identify negative unintended consequences. I think it's important that we actually analyse the business and technical flows from the beneficial owner through to the agent lender through to the broker dealer. And what I mean by that is that if you kind of take a look at the way the flow currently works now, you've got the beneficial owner who is conducting a sale out in the market. And essentially they've got to go through a matching, an affirmation and a confirmation process in regards to that. They probably have some other internal processes that they do as well. But essentially what they're doing is that they're sending that sale notification over to the agent lender pretty much after the market cutoff time. So one of the considerations there that we need to kind of take a look at is how can we actually improve that flow so that the information that's being provided to the agent lender is actually coming through in a much more timely fashion. So again, taking a look at is there batch processing, is there structural changes that are needed, is there more of a move to a real-time processing that can actually start to notify the agent lenders a little bit earlier. I think equally for the beneficial owners, they come in all various sizes. So some of them probably do have automation at the moment. Others probably need to be able to look to see if there's automation available. And I think it's beholden of the vendors to be able to be looking for offering solutions out there that will be able to accomplish some of those new changes into timelines. If I then take a look at the agent lender, they're obviously getting this information currently now after cut-off time. Obviously, they have to go through a process then of identifying which stocks ultimately need to be recalled and to which borrowers that those stocks need to be recalled to as well. So they've obviously got a process to be able to go through and do that. Because they're receiving that information so late, really the earliest that they're actually kind of giving that information to the broker-dealer is obviously on a T+1 basis after the sale. So, already the broker-dealer is playing a bit of catch-up in terms of trying to be able to cover that position. So again, I think there's certainly some conversations that are being had around, well, actually, what is the benefit of being able to extend the current market cutoff time? And again, also looking to see if there are automated ways of being able to notify the broker-dealer of the recall notification. And then also, again, I think that's an obvious one where you kind of sit down and take a look at the communication flows between the agent lender and the broker-dealer and saying, look, is there automatic ways those recall notifications can actually take place, and actually look to be able to streamline that particular process there, not only at the execution level, but also then downstream in terms of actually getting that instruction out into the marketplace. And then I think finally, if you kind of look at it from the broker-dealer perspective, obviously from their point of view now, they're receiving this information on a T+1. Currently, they're going out, they're looking to borrow the stock, they're looking to cover the recall. They had the luxury of that additional day. They don't obviously have that now. So from their perspective, what they need to do is they need to be able to get that information earlier. Obviously, they would like to be able to get it into their optimization tools, which happen overnight, so that they actually are in a pretty good position at the beginning of the day to instantly know what they may need to source or what they can actually cover naturally themselves. So from that perspective, they're obviously looking to be able to see if they can get some kind of an extension attention to the current market cutoff times, and obviously a little bit more automation in terms of the notifications around the recalls, so that they can then go out and actually borrow the securities. And again, I'll come back to the constant theme around the fact that, you know, for the borrower or the broker dealer, what they need to do is they need to go out and borrow the securities. They need to be able to get that securities executed in a timely fashion, but equally they need to be able to get that instruction back out into the market again. And I know I spoke about this a little bit earlier around some of the constant themes that are going on with other initiatives that are happening around the globe. This is probably the constant theme, and the fact is that, you know, that the latency between an execution and actually getting that instruction out in the market and settling it is becoming more and more crucial, and it's becoming more and more condensed.
Yeah, so agreed. Yeah, we have a system, the fiat system at the moment, that is so slow and opaque. It's unbelievable. What Ripple and other blockchain technologies are trying to do is speed up that process. Especially when it comes to payments, cross-border payments, and all that kind of stuff that facilitates everyday living. You know, you're getting tokenization of real estate. You're getting tokenization of real world assets coming down the line, and we need a system that can sorry, sorry, I got tongue tied there for a moment. Conduct instant, if you like, transactions in a matter of seconds as opposed to days, as the system currently is. And we're learning more and more every day, and I really do hope people would like and subscribe to this, but also pay attention to what's literally coming down the tracks. This is not going to be much more longer on this video, but I hope you guys are gleaning some information here, thanks to Mr. Man XRP for posting that, and I think it's Digital Asset who posted the other one. I can't remember quite correctly, but this is all about doing your own research, looking online, and finding this information, because the more you gather this information, the better off you will be long term, and you'll invest in assets that will help you. XDC is one of those assets that I feel, especially with Royal Ascent in the UK, that is going to be doing wonderful things in the crypto space when it comes to supply chain management. And VET is another one that is going to be used in supply chain management. There's not going to be just one blockchain for it all. There's going to be several of them used by several different companies or organizations or countries. Think about that. Yes, we have, like, I think 28,000 big cryptocurrencies on the market at the moment. Come on now, there's not 28,000 use cases, but there will be use cases in the thousands, not the 28,000s, but there will be use cases in the thousands for what's coming down the track, because you have to think about everything. You have to think about all of especially think about what you buy on a basis, on a daily basis, or whether it be for coffee, whether it be yes, you could argue, why can't there be one system for all? But we've had that. We've had the dollar, and what's that done? Corrupted. Hello, right? So I'm hoping I'm getting this across to you, that we are in a digital transformation. The transformation has already taken place. I think we're living in parallel universes when it comes down to what's literally taking place at the moment. I hope people will get the message and will understand literally what's taking place and take it on board and be a part of the system, as opposed to be outside the system and then being incorporated into the system via a CBDC, if that literally takes place, because I'm not quite sure whether that will work or not, given the countries that they trialed it in and it hasn't worked. Because you have Nigeria as a test case, it hasn't worked. Them over there say, hell no, we ain't having that. Okay? Because they understand the restrictions behind it. It will be a programmed technology that limits your purchasing power, and it limits your purchasing power to what they want you to purchase. Whereas if you are invested in the asset itself, whether it be, say, XRP, XLM, HBAR, And these are all technologies that are ISO 222 compliant XDC. Stronghold for another anything built on these chains, in particular Stellar chains, Sauron, built on these chains are going to make it, because they are ISO 222 compliant tokens. They have been accepted by the BIS, the WEF, the World Health Organization, the WHO, sorry, World Health Organization, WEF, World Economic Forum, all those kind of organizations. They've accepted the ISO 2 standard, and they want that they are rolling that out at pace. So wake up. And I really do hope you enjoy this kind of content, and please, I do hope you like and subscribe. I'm going to finish this one off and I'm going to end it there. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and please do like and subscribe.
So I think, to summarise, what essentially people are looking at is they need to take a look at the process flow kind of horizontally, completely from beneficial owner through to the broker dealer, but then equally from a kind of vertical perspective internally in their own shops, they need to look around how they can eradicate some of the latency that takes between kind of executing and settling the transactions, so that inventory can move in a lot more of a seamless and timely fashion than what currently happens.
Right, so hope you understand that. Please, guys, do like and subscribe. Do take care of yourselves, and do have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are listening to this video. And I hope you had value from it. I hope that it inspires you to take the next move if you're not a crypto investor. And if you already are, invest in tokens with utility, not financial advice. Speak to you soon. Laters.